Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Noelle D. I'm sick right now, so if you hear some of the, stuffiness, if you hear a fan in the background, just don't even worry about it. My hair kind of looks weird. I haven't posted in a while, so I'm sorry about that. I have been focusing on something, but before I get to that, let's focus on the book that I actually did read and finish. And actually, fun fact about that is I read about 35% of it, or 37%, something like that, some number like that. And then I actually listened to the audiobook for the rest of it, and that is By Blood, by Salt by J.L. Odom. And this is a military fantasy in which I don't want to say too much because I went into this book blind, and I think that is probably the best way to go into this book is just don't expect too much. Expect to follow a character that is a very convincing main character, because when I kept reading about him, that's just the main thought that would come to mind. Yeah, some very interesting politics. I love politics in my fantasy, and it is a military fantasy, and it's my first military fantasy I've ever read. It's also the first audiobook that I ever completed, and I know I've tried doing a couple other audiobooks, but before I get into that, let me preface, I'm not going to do a solo review on this book, only because I'm talking about this book now, and then on Wednesday, I will be recording, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a live stream yet, actually, but I'm going to be recording a video with Chance, Jake, and Tom, and J.L. Odom herself, and we are going to be talking about this book, and we're going to be doing mostly spoiler-free, and if we have time, we will definitely discuss spoilers at the end if we so decide we want to talk about it, about spoilers. So her writing is good, her storytelling is good. I want to say I will give this book a 4.5 stars. And yeah, it was a enjoyable story. I really loved the aspects of language that were in this book. As J.L. Odom was a linguist, she definitely puts a lot of emphasis on languages and how they feel and how they sound and things like that. And then there is also some commentary about things that could be in real life and things that could just be, something that is just within her story, but you could very well think of it as a real world like situation or real world circumstances and how people act. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the people we followed. I enjoyed Edzetla, our main character. I think that, he really was my favorite character, and I am glad that I didn't read the back, just because the back tells you so much, and some of the stuff, it's better just to find out because it may not happen until later on in the story, and I almost feel like it's kind of a spoiler to read the back of this book. But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed it, and I really, really enjoyed listening to the audiobook. Now, I'm so sorry to the audiobook narrator. I did not like the audiobook narrator, but if you put it on like 1.5 or so speed, it's not as big of a deal, but the way that he enunciated his words, I was not a fan of. Now, maybe other people would really like that, but I didn't like that. His narration style just wasn't for me, and such is life, those sort of things happen. We're not going to mesh with everybody. But I did mesh with this book, and I think that if you are reading a lot of epic fantasies right now, and you kind of want to break off from that, and you want to follow a smaller cast of characters with something that it's not going to take a lot of brain power for you to read this, in the sense that you're not having to discover a full big magic system and learn 50 characters' names. You're really following a small cast of characters who are very convincing characters, as I've said multiple times, but I just keep thinking about how much I like Edzetla as a character and how his story was really interesting to follow. I was intrigued the entire time, and it made doing my chores and things like that so much better. But anyway, if you are reading a lot of epic fantasies or reading a lot of books that are taking up a lot of brain power, or maybe you're studying in school and you're doing all these things, this is a good book to pick up, whether you are reading it or listening to the audiobook. But remember the caveat that I said with the audiobook. So that is the only book I finished recently, other than Mercy, Tears of the Fallen, but I will say that I am alpha reading the next book, which I know that Chance has said that he already has alpha readers out. There will be, obviously, I'm holding it up because I'm not going to release anything about the book. I'm not going to say anything about the book, other than I am doing that, and it's kind of become a homework for me in the sense that I am really trying to give honest and good feedback to Chance so that he can have, all of my opinions and thoughts, in the book. I'm like annotating and doing all these things and putting my thoughts on the page of, kind of what's going on and things like that. So that's been a really interesting kind of project, I guess you could say, for me. But yeah, so it's been good, and I'm supposed to have a discussion with him eventually. So that'll be good. That'll be good. And I am enjoying it, though it is taking me a lot. Because if you read Mercy, you know that it is complex. So reading By Blood, by Salt after reading Mercy, Tears of the Fallen was a great time for me because I stopped reading Ruin, picked up Mercy, finished Mercy, and then was like, okay, Ruin by Jonquin. And then was like, okay, By Blood, by Salt. Great kind of filler book. And then I am also working on One Piece again. I just started reading even a couple pages, a couple chapters, and I'm in the Skypiea arc right now. I won't say much about it because I do have a manga channel, though I haven't posted in quite some time on my manga channel. We're just not even going to talk about it. I got very, very overwhelmed. I think that the One Piece is big and their fandom is even bigger, and I gained a lot of traction on that channel very quickly, and I love the conversation about One Piece, and though no one is telling me hurry up and read it, I want to make sure that I'm giving, commentary and adding to the conversation and not just, being there and spewing what everyone else has said, though I don't really watch videos about One Piece. But yeah, I really want to be able to add, so I try to take my time with One Piece and really try to absorb the information because there are a lot of things that happens in One Piece. I did do the TBR challenge with my husband, the one from Library Unbounded, and I will tell you guys what books are on my August TBR. I don't know that I'm exactly going to finish them all because it's a lot. So I don't even necessarily remember the prompts, but I know that I got away with not having to read as much as my husband, which is hilarious. But if I can go back in the chat. Okay. All right. So I have actually 5 books on the TBR, which is Killers of the Flower Moon, which is about the Osage murders and the birth of the FBI, which I may end up doing the audiobook of that one. By Blood, by Salt, which I did finish. Discovery by J.J. Mitten. Mercy, Book 2. And Empire of Silence, which Empire of Silence I'm not halfway through. 30%, 40% in. Haven't continued reading that because Mercy Book 2 needs all of my attention right now, and that's just been what I'm doing. And then manga's a separate part of my brain, so I can kind of read manga a lot quicker than, novels obviously is a lot less words. So, but yeah, so the main book I've just been reading is Mercy Book 2. What else have I been doing? I have actually been playing a lot of video games. And I say a lot. It's a lot for me. So I kind of grew up playing video games, but not really. I had the Xbox 360 and I would play some games with some friends. Sorry guys, I'm so... Anyway, I would play some games with some friends, lots of multiplayer stuff. I would play some Assassin's Creed, I'd play Call of Duty and things like that. The first one I ever played was Ghosts, and then went on from there. Just because I didn't have the system, before then. So, but anyway, so I've been playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6 again. And I don't play competitive, I just play regular multiplayer because I don't really like the competitive mode. Been playing a lot of Overwatch, again, not competitive because I'm not good at Overwatch. And I think you have to win 50 games before you can go to ranked. And I've not done that yet. But I've definitely played over 150 games. And so that's embarrassing. But it's okay. And then I started playing the beta for Battlefield 6, which was definitely different than what I had no, like, expectations at all. I didn't see any trailers. I've never played any Battlefield game, but it's very realistic, and it's very difficult to play. And Duchess, what? My cat wants to join. Okay, anyway, that's Duchess. What else? I think that's about it for me. I know that I haven't given an update in a little while, and I apologize for that. I have been sick, and then before that, just kind of dealing with a lot of life things and just being busy. So, you know, when I come on YouTube, I want to be able to give my best self, and I'm still sick right now, but I'm doing the best I can, and I thank you guys for all of your support, and just clicking and watching this video is more than enough, and I appreciate you guys being here. Leave a comment, let me know what you guys are up to, what you guys are reading, if you guys are playing or watching anything. I also didn't mention anything I was watching because I'm not really watching anything. Yeah, I guess that's my sign to go. I'm glad Duchess is up and moving around though. She's been a little anxious lately, so this is good that she's up and out during the day. Anyway, yeah, comment, like, subscribe, all those things that you guys do or don't do. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Anyway, guys, thank you so much, and I will catch y'all in the next one. God bless.